I was asked to host this event by Sally Spencer, who is the head of the Carson Spencer Foundation. And she is honestly the most tenacious woman I've ever met. The governor says that he thinks I am, but no, I really do think she is. I think I told her no several times because I kind of knew there were things going on in our business. There were things going on in my life. There were a lot of things going on, but she was very convincing. And I'm really proud to be hosting this today. This is the first time that this event has taken place in the United States. And it's always been up in Canada, right? And so I'm very, very honored to have it here in our facility. I'm going to have the honor of introducing the governor in a moment. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story and why it was pretty apropos for me to be hosting this event, and my feelings about getting more people involved, especially at the corporate level, on the issue of mental health. And I learned last year with the suicide death of our 16-year-old nephew, that when you talk about these things, it's amazing how many people open up to you. I grew up in a household with a mother who was mentally ill from the time I was around 9 years old. And it was a difficult life, but it was the only life that I knew. And to a great degree, I think it is the thing that made me the woman that I am today. But growing up and keeping it pretty secret and just in the family for so many years was very hard. And coming home from school and seeing all your belongings emptied on the front lawn because mom just thought they needed to be on the front lawn in the rain was a really hard thing to have to live with, and as you can imagine, very embarrassing. And so for many years, I never talked to anybody. None of my friends, in fact, my very best friend, Liz, didn't even know that my mother was mentally ill. I had found her in a catatonic state of schizophrenia when I was 9 at home by myself. And then one day, I was coming home from school. I was in 7th grade, and there were police cars in front of my house and an ambulance, and my mother was being taken out in a straitjacket. And all my neighbors were there. They were watching, and I realized that, well, I guess the jig's up, but little did I know everybody knew anyhow. It's just that no one ever talked about it. When Matthew, our nephew, died last year, my sister, who's here today, and her family and our family decided that we wanted to open up the conversation. And given my platform as a public company CEO, and one of the larger companies here in Colorado, I decided to use every opportunity that I could to talk about mental illness, to talk about suicide. The first opportunity was at the Women's Chamber event about a month after Matthew died. I was scheduled to speak there before Matthew died, and little did I know that I was going to open up quite a conversation with a lot of executives in the room that day. It was when I met Sally and a number of others in the suicide community. About a few weeks after that, we had an all-employee call. We have 3,500 employees around the country, and I told them about Matthew, and I also told them about my history, my family history with my mother. And I will tell you that the response was stunning. I received and still have hundreds and hundreds of emails. In fact, there are people who I had to call because I was so worried about the pain that they were in, that they were opening up to me about. But it was amazing because I gave them permission to talk about it. And they suddenly were not ashamed. I had one guy who told me that because I said something, he grew up in a family that you never got help. You didn't believe in going to psychiatrists or getting any kind of help. He needed help. And he knew he needed help, and he knew he was really struggling. And he said that I gave him permission not to feel ashamed to get help. Imagine that. And it dawned on me, and it made me realize how important it is for public figures. You're hearing a lot of people talking, about Robin Williams and stars, but for business leaders to be out there and to be caring about mental health, because it's not only about what you can do for the community, obviously, and your employees, but there's a business reason for it, and business people like to have business reasons, and one of them, I've been to too many funerals as the CEO of this company for over 16 years. The vast majority of them have been suicide, either an employee suicide or a child suicide, either an employee's child or a student in the community. Sometimes it's never even talked about at the funeral services, and I will tell you, my head of HR, who goes to almost every one of these with me, knows how frustrated I get when the people who are speaking, the ministers who are speaking at these events, don't use the opportunity to educate all the kids, especially who are in the audience, about this subject, because there's someone else in the audience who's thinking about it. And as a business, we made a commitment towards mental health, and we've been working toward it, and I'm going to be trying to get our combined company, the company who's buying us, to do the same thing, because it really will make a difference. Because as corporate leaders, those of us who run companies or within companies or are key people within companies have an opportunity to impact a lot of lives in a really positive way, because we have this little community. We can make it safe for people to talk about it, to get help. I know I've done that here, but it's just the beginning. And with these types of events, when we bring in people from all over the community, those who obviously live and breathe the mental health issues of the day, and then those who don't, and we have a few of them here today, that hopefully will bring back the messages that you learn from the amazing speakers that are here today. So that's it for me. I just wanted to help you to understand where I'm coming from personally, and hope that all of you, especially those of you who've never been engaged in having an open conversation on the subject, start to do it, start to think about it, and start to implement things in your organizations to help make, just to make our whole community a better place, and to make it safe for people in your world to talk about it and to get help. So with that, I have the honor to introduce the governor, and I just want to say that about a month after Matthew died, I had the occasion to run into our governor, who is ubiquitous in all places here in Colorado. He turns up, and he tries to turn up, and he tries to support. And this was the Larry Meisel's what's the name of it? It's called Babi Yar, and I'm Ukrainian, and so a lot of Ukrainians died as well. And so my son and I went there, the governor was there, and I just cried to him about what had happened, and he said, how can I help? Let me connect you to people in the community. He connected me to Larry Walk, and that was the beginning of a lot of knowledge learning from me, and connections for me. And I just want to say that this is a governor who, he cares. He has always been there, and for me and for our company, and that was just another instance of how can I, the first words are what can I do? What can I do to help you? And that's the kind of governor that we have. So I want to have him come up here.